Piggybacking off that, who makes the wheels?
No? That's the stupid question. We'll just trade those.
Sorry about that. This week we're joined by Cory Morris to discuss Meals on Wheels Chicago on Tap 2025. This is episode 159 of the Malting Hour.
What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's beast. This the Malting Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Malting Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Welcome to the Malting Hour. I am one of your hosts, Tony Golick, joined always with
Brandon Winninger.
And regrettably returning again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I tell it how it is.
Well,
say who you are.
corned beef.
Corned beef and snatch.
Matthew Moldenhauer.
Welcome, and we have a special guest here today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Cory Morris. I'm the Director of Community Impact for Meals on Wheels Chicago.
Which can mean only one thing. This is the Chicago On Tap episode. We really need, the soundboard to, have, applause or something, like a fanfare.
Well,
or just Matthew.
If we ever get a mixing board, and then everyone can have headphones, and everyone can hear everything, so it's not just weird silence. We're like, why aren't you saying anything? I pushed a button, man.
Should I actually go in and edit and try and cut out the weird silence after that, or just let it sit there so everybody's like, oh.
I like the weird silence.
Just let it flow, yeah.
Well, Cory, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and thank you for including us again. We really do enjoy this event. It's become near and dear to us. For those of you who don't know, Cory, why don't you give a little background on the event?
Yeah, so the event, which is going to be April 10th at Theater on the Lake, I believe it's our 5th or 6th annual one. I've been on the team for about 3 years now, and it's going to be one of our main fundraisers for the year. So what we've done is, with your help, lined up a spectacular lineup of breweries. Right now, there's 15, technically 17. We can get into that later. And then 18 restaurants, all doing tasting. So right now, I believe there's over 40 different beers that you can come try. And tickets are only $45. We still have a few left.
That's a very good price point for being able to try all that beer and all that food.
It's like $1 a beer.
And one of the best venues.
If you were to drink all of them.
Challenge accepted.
Well, it's typical with... This beer fest is different because I feel like I've been drawn more to, I'll go around and I'll try a few. And then there's a few that I like, and then I just tend to go back to those because then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have that, and then I'm eating food, and I'm like, oh, I know that beer was good, so I'm just gonna go get that again. It's weird, but there's options for everybody because I think this year you guys have a cider or not a cider, a seltzer.
So we do have both. We have a cider from Eris.
Well,
Eris
yes.
will be back, and then we have Hardly Water.
That's what it was.
So it's a still beverage.
If I'm not mistaken, they won Best Brewery last year?
Yeah, Best Brew. So I'm not sure exactly which one because they were pouring 3, but they just had a ton of fun. They had this game at the table and to draw people in and kept them there. So that helped out a lot, and it's just a really great company that's just like everyone else made here in Chicago. So
you hear that, Matthew? You need a game.
I thought you were going to say we have to be made
Bring
in Chicago. I was like, well, we can bring our cornhole game if we get 15 feet.
It's probably not gonna
Hey, if it's nice enough, put it outside in that little area where people. That's actually not a bad idea to have cornholes.
Yeah, we'll have some games because this year we decided to just rent out the entire space. So the restaurant, the full event space. If the weather's nice, which it can be nice tomorrow, it could snow tomorrow. You never know. We're in Chicago.
Snowed yesterday.
We could set up the bags, and we have these really fun Meals on Wheels branded ping pong balls, and so we'll have merch pong. We'll have a bunch of fun stuff going on. So
yeah, that venue is
create a game for your table too.
The venue is amazing, and it's really cool that you guys have the entire venue this time.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's crazy. We knew that we just needed to sell as many tickets and expose as many people to our mission and these amazing breweries and restaurants, and so we did. That was one of the key factors is making sure we have the space.
So because you guys have rented out the entire space, did you up the capacity or the ticket amount?
Yeah, so the tickets used to be $75, right?
No,
I
meant like the amount of people that can come now.
Last year we capped it at 450.
Okay.
Now we can fit 800.
Holy cow.
So we'll have the full you've all been to theater, like obviously.
Correct. Yeah.
There. But for the listeners that haven't been there, when you walk in, there's this really beautiful wraparound bar with TVs and the main restaurant, and then attached is just gigantic event space that we've traditionally just taken over that. But this added space and the way we're configuring everything, we're hoping for 800 people to attend, and ticket sales are trending really high. And
Nice.
For something like this, we notice a lot of people are kind of like last minute. It's an event on a Thursday, so if you want to try all 40
Not you.
plus beers, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, we were talking about the event space and the increased capacity and the ticket sales trending really well right now, which is awesome because that's always, I mean, that's got to be the hardest part. And you're trying to raise money and you're trying to fill the space, so that's a hard spot to be in. I know back in the day when I worked at Fishman's, and they had an event that they started doing called Kegs for Kidneys. And I remember we would just watch ticket sales every day, and it was there would be 2 or 3 days that nobody was buying tickets, and then you'd hit a Friday, and then I was like, oh, it must be payday because 50 tickets, just 50 tickets in an hour, the first thing in the morning. I'm like, all right, here we go. I mean, I think it'll even out. And you guys have done a lot of great deals. You did a lot of BOGO tickets.
Yeah.
Buy one, get one.
And to be honest, the $45 price point with
That's insane.
everything
It's
that's
a
included.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would pay that for the food alone, to be honest. No offense to the beer stuff, but the food has always been really good and on point. And it's always fun to hear what friends or people that I know there have tried, and then I try and get it, and I'm too late.
Yeah, I think that 45 price point is where a lot of beer fests need to get to. Unless you're putting on something like Beer Under Glass or GABF or
Fobab.
really going, Fobab, going over and beyond. People are tight on money, and being able to have a night out for $45, have beer and food, and you're on the lake.
Yeah, it's a trifecta of awesomeness.
You're trying award-winning beers too. I know you're pouring Beezer, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
They bring that everywhere they go.
Yeah.
There it is, the first Old Irving plug of the episode.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, knowing, just looking at the talent that we got, between that, we got Mars Community Brewing. I really love them. David, one of their guys that'll be pouring, he's on our associate board, so
He was here last year for the episode.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's a great
So
guy.
he's
We had a lot of
amazing.
fun with him.
And then, Hot Butcher for the World. And like I said, I stopped by Pilot Project today and just learned about their program. And they're doing some really, really fun stuff. Like this weird, not weird, but it's interesting pickle beer.
We're not blowing up. My dryer's going off, and I forgot to turn it off.
That's it. It's
But I
the
need
end.
a comforter tonight to sleep. After my 5-year-old came in and pissed in our bed.
Oh, jeez. Did he literally come in and be like, well, here I go?
He just stood up and he was like, "It's a party, guys!" No, we try to get him to not drink so much water at the end of the night, because that usually is what wakes him up. And of
Yeah.
course, first he wakes up, then comes into our bed, and then God bless him, he snuggles up on my wife's side. And then this morning we were waking up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, it's a little wet over here." And he was like, "Why?"
What'd you do?
Yeah, move along.
No lie, that's the exact same thing that happened at my house last night.
Yeah.
So I did my laundry before the podcast, but
There's something in the air with these 5-year-olds.
Matthew, did you wet the bed as well?
Yeah, I snuggled up next to you last night.
That backfired hard.
So one of the cool things that I don't think it's promoted enough. So there's a silent auction, right? It's an auction. I know
well, it's a raffle, yeah.
But is it kind of you sign up and name your price point, or I don't remember, or you get to buy tickets? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So you buy tickets and you throw your tickets in.
Yeah, they're walking around measuring it arm to arm.
So you had mentioned when you walked in that you were going around picking up some raffle stuff. You want to talk about some of the stuff that's going to be there?
Yeah, there's whatever you can think of. We got a lot of the local sports teams. We got a jersey, a basketball signed by the Bulls, a baseball signed by somebody from the Cubs. We got hotel stays from the Study Hotel over in Hyde Park, which is a real beautiful new hotel right over by the University of Chicago campus. A few other hotel stays, the Cambridge. And we're packaging them all together so you can have like a cool, fun experience, like a night stay, and then go to Navy Pier and ride the Ferris wheel. Or we have some Art Institute stuff. We have all kinds of great experiences.
Yeah, I don't think I've done. I think we did the raffle the first year and we didn't win anything. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And then last year you were saying like pretty much everyone you knew.
Everyone I knew won something. My brother-in-law won something. In fact, I think my cousin and his wife are finally using something up in Milwaukee that they won.
Oh, cool.
And they're like, and I think it's this weekend actually, so they're staying at a hotel and some other stuff that was included with it. I was like, ooh la la.
Just in time to go back and win some more stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing about it, that there's not just the beer and food aspect, but obviously, you know, there's a lot of other stuff going on there. Mm-hmm. And I know one of the things that you mentioned was the music aspect, and in the past there had been a live band, but I think when we had chatted that the live band was not going to be,
they're not available, and we're going to do a playlist,
okay,
which I fully support. It's still going to bring some fun energy to the room, but I think that all of the different breweries and restaurants are so creative, and you talk to somebody that's passionate about beer and brewing, like you can just have a hours long conversation about just like the different ingredients and processes that you go through to get that into the cup. And so that's going to let them, you know, explain for the people that really want to learn more about what they're pouring. So I'm excited about that for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I enjoy going to a beer festival, and that's, you know, pretty much the basis of this podcast is what we do, and sit around and drink beer and talk about the ingredients and stuff. It originally started as a homebrew podcast, so that was more of where we were at, but I do like that aspect of it now, of being able to talk a little bit more with who's pouring and what's going on.
Yeah, and while I love live music, being at a beer fest, it's normally difficult to have a balance between being too loud or not loud enough, and so the breweries and the people right next to the band either get slammed by people all wanting to be there, but then not being able to pour beer, or sometimes I've done it where you just can't even talk. You just point at the beer, and you're just like, which one do you want?
This one. It's
and
going in your
then someone
cup.
always asks a question, you're just like, what?
You just write down every possible question and answer on a sheet and be like, point to the answer, like right there. Right
I mean, the good thing is I can normally guess it. Beezer won World Beer Cup last. Yep. Yeah, that's a fruity sour. It's good. I know.
It's fruit.
Blueberries. You got it.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that too, because one of the things I noticed last year, it was like conversationally, it was kind of hard if you got closer to the stage. Not that it would change like if you're piping music into the whole place, but at least now you can control, you know, that aspect of it. Like, because bands are loud, and I'm not knocking there being a live band, because a live band always brings a good time. But it's such a like. That environment has such like a chill environment. Like the theater on the lake just seems like such a great. And I hate the fact that I have not gone there and just like dined on my own. Like I've always gone just for this event, and the event is amazing. But I'm like, every time we go in, like I tell my wife, I'm like, we gotta come back here for dinner. And we're like, yeah.
I think I said that last time too.
And then it's always like, well, we gotta find a babysitter. Now it's like, we got to pick and choose our battles, and one of these days, theater on the lake has got to be on that list.
I mean, it's a perfect spot, too, and I know they do lunch, so you could, you know, bring the kids down, hit up the lakefront, grab lunch. I know we actually got them to participate this year, too, so their chef is going to be doing a fried burrata. Ooh. Sounds amazing.
Let's go.
Burrata,
So
we should go.
Yeah, that's perfect beer food, too, right? It's like just crispy and
everything that has been there over the years that we have gone has always been like perfect, like bite size, or not always bite size, but like a nice complement to like what you're walking around and drinking. There's always been really good food.
Yeah. And this year too, we just secured Garrett's Popcorn is donating 800 bags of popcorn.
the hell?
And
love popcorn.
2 years ago, if you were there, they got the really big ones.
Oh, yeah.
They were transitioning into the grocery stores, and now they're like it's running like a well-oiled machine. And we just have a good relationship with them, and reached out, and we got that. We got some really amazing just water, chips, in addition to the restaurants.
That was the not last year, the year before. I think it was the popcorn thing, because I think we had just left.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you texted me or somewhere like, "Oh man, did you get some of that popcorn?" And I'm like, "Damn it!" Like, popcorn. That's like oh man, dude, I love popcorn. So.
Oh yeah, I got like 2 or 3 bags at the very end. Where they're like, "Oh, we can't take this back with us. You want popcorn?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
I think I grabbed 2 just to be safe. Like, I don't need more than this.
Yeah, I forgot where I was the other day. They were like, we went to United Center to see Gabriel Iglesias, and he was the workers outside were walking with like these massive like garbage bags of popcorn, and I was just like, I wanted to be like, how much for just that bag? It would probably be like $80, but I'm like, dude, I love
Sold.
Dude, I mean, I just love popcorn. So this is not the popcorn hour though. So
We could start a popcorn podcast if you want.
One thing too I'd love to mention is, if you have a friend that wants to come to the event but they don't like beer and are not convinced because of the restaurants alone, we got some really amazing non-alcoholic breweries too. Or beers being poured. Mars is bringing one.
Oh, nice.
Go Brewing's going to be back. So I believe we have like 6 or 7 different non-alcoholic options. Plus other food. We'll bring.
Well, we've had a handful of. Have we had like 2 or 3 Go Brewing beers? They're really good, especially for like non-alcoholic option. It's really tasty.
yeah, and then there's not many. I mean, there are now, but there's not many that I've had that have been like these are really solid. Like the first one we ever had was from Sam Adams, but then locally was, I think Go Brewing was the first one that we like unanimously were just like, these guys do a fantastic job. Like, and do you know? I'm asking Matthew because he knows a lot about a lot of the different breweries. Are they strictly like non-alcoholic?
Yeah, they are.
So, okay. I mean, it
wanna
blows my
go.
mind because I'm like, well,
wanna
no,
go.
and that's great, but I'm like, it blows my mind. I'm like, they would make some solid like regular beers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the benefits of being strictly non-alcoholic is they don't have to have certain liquor licenses like other breweries. They also, because of that, I believe they're also sold on Amazon, so they don't have to do the traditional distributor route. They can sell across the country.
That's pretty awesome.
You can buy a Hyundai now on Amazon if you were looking for a new car.
What? Yeah. Give me my phone.
And it's still free delivery too.
No, so I think that the way it is.
Well, then why am I a Prime member?
Yeah.
No, so what I think what it is if you're looking for a specific car, you can search for the car, and if you're like some person that's just got bags of money and you're just like, that's the car I want, I'm buying it. You buy it on Amazon, and then it gets delivered to your local dealer, and you just go and pick it up.
Huh.
But then you probably still got to sit there for 40 hours and fill out paperwork. I'm like, we need to make sure you sign this. I'm like, no, man, Amazon's got this.
Here's my email receipt that I bought this.
Mr. Bezos paid you already. You're good. Just give me the car. But it's not in his name. It's in my name. Yeah. Trying to think. There's a lot of. I mean, so the event is April 10th. What are the hours of the event?
6 to 10.
Okay. What is one thing that you're looking forward to the most at this event?
Raising as much money as possible for the organization.
That was a stupid question.
The most important part.
Yeah.
That wasn't a stupid question. That was good. That was
It's really just getting
Good
everybody
segue.
together and seeing everybody again, right? Because we have so many people that are returning for the event that are big time supporters. So that'll be great. We get our whole associate board together, which really does a great job organizing this event. So, I've been in Chicago since 2008. I cooked at a few restaurants and hotels and bars, and been able to use my network of people to kind of bridge the gap and kind of elevate the event as we go. So it's always, it's a time for us all to get together and raise money and support the cause.
So that's a good question, though. So, and I'm sure a lot of people are curious, Meals on Wheels, can you talk about, in general, what Meals on Wheels does? And the money that's raised for this event, what specifically would you guys put it towards?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So Meals on Wheels has been around in Chicago for about 37, 38 years. Right now we're delivering sort of like the core of our program are home delivered meals to the seniors, 60 and over. And so we have about 11,000 clients throughout Chicagoland, all 77 neighborhoods that are getting meals delivered directly to their door. So that's providing nourishment. The drivers are able to do a wellness check to just check in and see how the people are doing. And then a few years ago, we launched a pantry where we distribute food for right now about 350 seniors. And that's usually the last Tuesday of the month at the Central West Senior Center. So those are kind of like the two kind of main things that we do. We also serve individuals with disabilities, about 180 or 200 that are also part of the home delivered meal program. We work with our corporate clients to do love notes, which are distributed with our food that go to people's homes. And all kinds of different things. You know, because I have a chef background, we do cooking demonstrations in the senior center to coincide with the pantry and the food that we're giving away.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's great because, you know, when we started it, you know, you can give somebody a box of ingredients, but not everybody's going to know what to do with everything. So, you know, I started off kind of small, like this is how you properly cook pasta. This is how you dice an onion. This is what you do with the scraps. We're giving you guys Brussels sprouts or cauliflower, and you know, like just different versatile ways to use them and maximize the nutrition. So that's been a really fun program that we do as well. So I know last year we delivered about 4.7 million meals annually for that home delivered meal program. So it's a big impact. It's necessary. You know, programs like ours are, as you've probably heard, or you know, it's volatile, the funding right now. So you know, some of our programs could be on the chopping block, but luckily statewide we do have a lot of support, and having individual donors and people that really care and help support the mission is integral to help us keep doing what we're doing.
So I'm going to ask what I think is a stupid question.
Ooh, let's be number 2, maybe.
Who makes the meals?
Yeah, so
Not a stupid question.
No, not at all. There's a company who's actually the glassware sponsor, because when you come to the event, everybody's going to get signature 2025 Chicago on Tap tasting glass. But the glassware sponsor is Open Kitchens, and Open Kitchens is also a local company that was started about the time the Meals on Wheels of Chicago was formed. So 38 years ago. So Open Kitchens, they do all of the meal production, delivery. They communicate with all of the seniors on any issues that kind of arise. Because Chicago specifically has so many clients, that's how we operate. If you go, you know, Northern Illinois, or you go to Kane County, DuPage County, they do everything start to finish. They will, you know, cook. They will get volunteers to deliver the food. We were, lucky enough to have that partnership, especially during the pandemic, because we didn't skip a beat. And we were able to actually double what we were actually delivering, because the need increased, you know, exponentially. And yeah.
Piggybacking off that, who makes the wheels? No?
That's the stupid question. We'll just trade those.
Sorry about that. As soon as I'm sorry, and I listened to everything and it was great, and I feel bad that I dropped that crappy joke right at the end of everything you just said, but I had to take it.
Ask Double Clutch. I believe they're going to be there.
They'll be there. They won Best Brew a couple years ago.
Yeah, they're great. We love Double Clutch.
Really good lagers.
Yeah, good food. Are they bringing food at all, or are they just beer?
They should bring food.
I didn't know that they had food.
Oh yeah, the food there is pretty great.
I've seen pictures of their tap room in the brewery. It's really neat.
It's awesome. It was a lot of fun to go there and do an episode with them.
Yeah, they've got kind of a unique story. The owner, they own a couple other spots. I know one of the spots that they own is the dock at Montrose. Mm-hmm. So if you ever go to like Montrose Beach, there's the beach house that's been there for, since the beginning of time, that literally I've been a kid and I've noticed that place. And then now they have a restaurant, and they serve drinks and stuff like that during the summer. And it was the year we had done the episode, which was still kind of pandemic-y. I think everything was just kind of lifting.
Yeah.
And I'd gone there, and they had talked about how they don't distribute really, and like they're just where they're at the time being. And we went there, and I was like, "Why is there Double Clutch here?" And I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it's the same owners. And if you've not been to Double Clutch, they have an amazing car collection that rotates every couple of months or whatever. And I think right now, there's supposed to be a DeLorean in there.
Is the Batmobile
and a Batmobile. I had a buddy that was there like a couple days ago, and it's like it's the 1967 Adam West Batmobile.
Wow.
Because the owner of the brewery, the whole company, owns all those cars. They said he's got 80 cars in his collection, and he just rotates them through this showroom. And I was like,
if you got
can
them, show them.
Can I borrow one of these cars? I'm like, let me drive around in the Batmobile, man. Come on. Or a DeLorean. Dude, I'd love to drive a DeLorean.
Yeah, we should ask him to bring it to Chicago on tap. And
I know! Hey, can you park the Batmobile out front?
Come on.
That would be
pretty awesome.
DeLorean, one of the two.
Well, it's probably just a DeLorean. Now, if it was... I don't know if it's decked out a time machine.
It might be. There was one at Ride Fest last year that was totally decked out.
Oh, man, no, I'm regretting not going to Ride Fest.
First out, dude, was the day it was raining. Bad. We were in an arcade. That was it.
Well, great. So I think this is a perfect time to take a quick break, and we'll come back and chat a little more about Chicago on Tap.
Sounds good. ASMR.
And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. Matthew's getting at himself with more ASMR. Well, since you got that beer in your hand, why don't you read what it is, Matthew?
Long Snapper, Tighthead Brewing Company.
Who will be a part of Chicago on Tap.
Well done.
Thank you. I bought these beers specifically. I did.
So you bought Old Irving too?
No, you brought it. That's why I texted you.
No. Long Snapper
You always bring
IPA.
beer when you come.
Yeah.
Like, why are you
Which is how I started my text, real quick. Which is how I started my text. Look, I know you normally bring Old Irving beer, but can you bring some Old Irving beer?
Yeah, it'd be nice if you, financially supported us every once in a while.
Dude, I go there so much.
Brandon comes weekly.
I'm bi-weekly.
It's Long Snapper IPA. Long Snapper is a West Coast style IPA brewed in collaboration with Long Snapper Patrick Manley, the Long Snapper the longest
Should I read this?
tenured player in Chicago Bears history. We designed a recipe together based on Pat's favorite beer styles, and it will be released for the inaugural Patrick Manley Award, given to the outstanding college long snapper of the year. The beer has an ample base and Vienna malt, accented by caramel notes from
What the hell
Kirsten
is
and
going
Munich malts,
on?
hopped with a trio of traditional Northwest hops, Columbus Cascade, and Centennial that create a well-balanced, crushable beer. 1 pint, 6 ounces by volume.
Words are hard.
Do you have a toothache today?
I could.
You just don't know it. Brandon, what do you think of this beer so far?
It's good. What's the style again? I mean, I know it's an IPA, but is it just an
West
IPA?
Coast.
West Coast.
I mean, from what I expect from a West Coast IPA, it's juicy. It's it's got those piney notes, and the hops are coming forward. So definitely, yeah, it's West Coast IPA. I mean, my benchmark is always Pliny or something like that. And I was spoiled back in the day being able to go to California so much, but
Yeah, dude, go back.
I know, right? No, I mean, this is solid. I like it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that old school, early 2000s. You can tell just by that color, how dark, almost ambery that is. That's just a old school West Coast. I'm surprised that it's only 40 IBUs. That bitterness.
Yeah.
I was going to say that was what stood out to me the most is the bitterness from the hops in this, which I can, relate to or put on knowing it's a West Coast IPA style.
So, since we're talking about that, was Tighthead there years previously at Chicago on Tap?
No,
so,
so
yeah.
be their first year.
Yeah.
One of you guys were able to
Probably
lock
Matthew.
that in for us.
Yeah, I reached out to Bruce.
Awesome.
Good job, Matthew. You're employed for one more episode.
Nice.
And it looks like there's a couple new breweries there. I know I reached out to Microphone, and I think they're coming, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I got some stuff going in the raffle.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. We usually do that stock for the summer, so it's going to be a cart full of all the beers from the participating breweries. So I'll go and just get a 4-pack, 6-pack, whatever people want to donate. Throw that in a cart, and you can win that.
What the hell?
It's insane. So
Yeah, it was awesome because when I reached out to them, the first thing they said was like, "Oh, I don't know, but we definitely would like to do the raffle." It's like, all right, well, here's the info. Give it to Mike. Do with it what you will. And he messaged me back, goes, "Yeah, so we're doing it." I was like,
Easy
I was like,
enough.
even better. And then you're going to be a part of the raffle. That's cool too. But yeah, I know. Like I've known Mike and a lot of a couple of the people that work there for quite a while. So I'm super excited that they're going to be a part of this event.
Yeah, that'll be. I feel like when this event happens and you get new breweries, it then opens up better opportunities for people to want to come out, because there's some diehard fans of certain breweries. Like, oh, they're there, great, I'll go there, and I definitely want to drink their beers and for a good cause.
Well, yeah, and especially when you know what they're pouring and then
Yeah.
you start posting about what they're pouring. I think that's like a solid indicator of for me, I'd be like, oh, I would go to drink that for $45, for what, 4 hours? Yeah.
Yeah, 4 straight hours. You can kind of take an hour break and then go back at it.
But it's great.
Break.
Because I know
Pounds of
people.
food.
I know people that go to beer fests and their sole goal is to drink every single beer and then do it again. Excuse me. I don't know why.
It's a hard pass.
But But I get the idea of trying to try as much as possible. But I'm like, I'm a little older.
Didn't you play video games? You have to complete all the achievements.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm a little older now. I go and I'll try a handful of them, and then I'm good. I don't need to go to beer fest to get wasted anymore. But
It just happens.
no, it doesn't. I did not get wasted at Great American Beer Festival last year. I can say that. I got tipsy. Did not get wasted.
Yeah, did not get wasted. Tipsy for sure.
But I'm saying but the cool thing about this event though is there's food there too. You get almost beer fest, and it's all right, you're drinking around, and then you go buy your $15 slice of pizza or something like that. But there's literally people just
Bad pretzels.
putting food in your face and be like, try this.
And it's really good food.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There was something like a lamb taco last year or something like that. That was just
Wasn't lamb?
it was lamb. It was not a normal taco.
Some sort of taco that was very good.
Yeah, it was lamb or goat or something but it was fantastic. And there's desserts there that were fantastic. There was a dude making hot dogs.
I was going to say hot dog.
Yeah,
Dude,
Vienna beef was there.
Yeah, it was they were making hot dogs, and it's just anything you could, pretty much something for, as much as the beer now or the drinks have kind of for every taste, the food kind of spans that category too. So that's really cool. And I don't know why I'm so excited about the whole space being available now. I mean, it's just such a cool thing because that bar looks great when you walk in, and
Well, it's kind of like a brand new experience from something we've already done.
Yeah, too, it's us having the whole space and it being a long event, so 4 hours, right? We've decided, we added some really nice areas for people to lounge around in. We were strategic about the glass that we got for tasting, so it's a little, it's kind of I don't know how you guys know what
Little
shade.
tulip probably has a nice nose too.
Yeah, there you go.
Smell all the good
A lot of people were you
should I
sample
bring out some samples?
20 beers, they're gonna start dropping them. You guys spilling on the side, so.
Oh yeah, inevitably you're gonna have the Great American Beer Fest, everyone shouting when the first glass breaks. But
Got to cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having food is it's nice and responsible, because so often, especially 2 hours into a beer fest when there's no food and anything else, people, imbibe a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Having places to lounge and drink and having non-alcoholics and having food is just a really smart idea.
And if you get thirsty, you need water, there's a whole lake right out there.
Yeah, you just go out there, scoop it up in
And
your
then
glass.
There's going to be a giant straw from the water.
And then you get hungry, just
There's
go
not.
fishing.
Do not drink from the lake. I do not recommend.
And then go fishing. You can have up to 4 fish from Lake Michigan with the Mountain
That
Mercury.
would, you know what? That would actually be hilarious if somebody showed up to the event with their fishing gear and were like, "I'm just gonna drink a little and go fish off."
Can you throw that on the grill? Real quick, I want to go back to this beer. Brandon, How many footballs are you going to give this one?
I'm at 3.75.
3.75. Very good. Matthew?
Yeah, I'm thinking right around a solid 3.9. It's just old school West Coast, which I dig a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that there seems to be more of West Coast IPAs kind of popping back up with just about every brewery. I'm with you. I'm like a 3.9 on this. It's very good. I do enjoy it.
What's the rating system?
Just whatever we want. It's out of 5.
Out of 5, okay.
For me, 4 is I would go out and buy this myself.
Cool.
Usually anything for me like 3.5 to 4, I'm happy if someone gave it to me and I'm drinking it.
The guy that always has beer from a brewery that he works at goes out and buys beer.
I do. There's so much good beer out in the world.
Well, no, I agree. It's kind of funny because some people
Which is
would
why
be
he brings us beer.
Why would you buy beer? You've got all the beer you could want. Because some places make better beer. And I'm not saying that.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know. That's what it sounded like you said.
But there's styles that are out there that you guys don't make that, like, if you're in the mood for that style. But that transitions me to my next question. You guys have been a part of this event for the last couple years. Old Irving Brewing. What is and you've been there every time.
Yeah.
What has your experience been with the event, and, like, how do you see it?
Yeah, this is my 4th year. I grew up, my mom helped Meals on Wheels up in Wisconsin, and it's always been a part of my life in one way or another. And so seeing it in Chicago, and I think it's one of the reasons why there's so many people that come out and support it, both on the suppliers, the food, the beverage, but how many people come out to it, because Meals on Wheels Chicago has been around. People know it, they trust it, and they help so many people. So having that and then being on the venue, I remember going to different comedy events when it wasn't Theater on the Lake and it was just some kind of warehouse with bleachers, and you're like, oh, this is kind of grungy, but like it's still cool being on the lake. And you go there now and you're just like, wow, this is just absolutely gorgeous. So being able to be there, last year, I think it was beautiful. It was like 60, 70 degrees. I got there early, just sat out on the patio, just watching the sunset. I love it.
I want to sit out there and watch the sunset. What the hell?
With Matthew?
We could all hold hands and have a beer.
Oh, that actually sounds nice. You should do that.
Has there ever... So how long has this event been going on?
That's a good question. There was a pause during the pandemic, but I want to say there's been at least 5 or 6. So I know the event has been... What's the event? The venue in Pilsen, Thalia Hall. It was there 1 year.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I went.
So yeah,
Forgot all about that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's a cool venue. Yeah,
trying to think in
awesome.
my head, like, where has it been before? But Thalia Hall's cool. Yeah, I haven't been there in forever since I was working there. But
Go back, dude.
maybe I will. I think the last time I was there is when I saw Smashing Pumpkins. Like,
Oh really?
yeah, they did a pop-up show, and I was coming back from, like, Freeport, Illinois or something. I was literally driving back, and I got a text like, hey, can you work at Thalia Hall tonight? And I was like, why? It was literally right before Thanksgiving. And they're like, oh, Smashing Pumpkins are doing a pop-up show. And I was like, okay. So I strolled in, and they had they don't always, but they kind of overbook and, like, put too many people there. And then, like, to make sure they've got coverage and if people are there. And so I showed up, and I was like, man, this is going to be an awesome show. And the guy, the manager at the time was like, do you just want to see the show? I'm like, well, no, I mean, I want to be inside, so just put me inside. And he was like, nah, you're cut. And I was like, okay. He's like, but just go inside. And I was like, okay. So, but he sent me inside when they were doing their warm-up, and I just sat there and watched the warm-up, and then I was, like, the first person up on stage, and, like... That's awesome. Yeah, it was... something happened, and, like, I think I, like, shook hands with Billy Corgan. I was like, okay.
You mean Bill Burr's brother?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was... It's just a cool, intimate spot, and they've got bars in there and stuff like that, but, like, that's a cool spot. But... compared to Theater on the Lake, obviously it's not like a theater venue, even though it's called Theater on the Lake. They do have a stage and everything like that, but, like, the main component, I think their driver now is that restaurant, but that whole space that they got in the back is just so unique and so special. And everyone that's been there before obviously has, for this event for Chicago on Tap, has been in that space. And now you get to experience the whole thing. So if you've never dined there before, you get more of the experience. So
I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is now having access to the entire venue. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because I know, like, in the past, it's like you have to go out to go to the bathroom and, like, kind of navigate around. But you got run of the house, man. Just go wherever you want.
Can't go in the lake. Don't want to do that. That's frowned upon.
I mean, they said they rented out the whole space. So if you want to go make a cheeseburger in the kitchen, fire up that grill. Do not fire up the grill. Do not go in the kitchen. Do not go behind the bar. You are not allowed.
After the third hour, it does usually start to get a little loose, but
yeah, let's not get that loose this year.
So I talked about like what you're looking forward to the most, but what are you anticipating now? Like, as far as like we're getting close to the event, what are you expecting any more breweries to want to ask to be in, or any more restaurants to ask to be a part of it? Because I'm sure at this point you guys are mapping out where everyone's going to be.
Yeah.
How does that work? If somebody, do you have to tell people no, or?
Yeah, we have a waiting list of people that want to still participate, but in order to, just make sure that we have that level where people can have areas to relax and everything like that, and I think we've probably overdone it on the amount of drinks and food that any human can consume.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. And this is one of our 3 principal fundraisers. We'll slot them in for something else, and invite them to the event so they can see what it's all about, and bring them in next year. And Chicago has no shortage of amazing breweries and restaurants and people who support the mission, so we'll get them in there. But as of now, the roster's full, and I'll start releasing the menus, and so put those teasers out of what everybody's pouring and what everybody's serving.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I did notice recently being posted was like what breweries will be there and what offerings they have, which I think is a great idea, because then it gives people an insight of like what to expect, whether it's a beer they've never tried from the brewery or it's a beer that they really like, and they're going to this event and get to go and have unlimited pours if they want.
Yeah, and you get to talk to the people who make it or sell it, and so you can find out the stories about Beezer. No.
Yeah.
How many 20s did you give him?
Or Jungle Boogie, that's
Jungle
a
Boogie's
fun
really good.
drink, and David's gonna be there pouring that, and
Yeah, I haven't had Jungle Boogie in a while. That's an old school one. I remember drinking that in like 2016 and having my mind blown with the Rubus tea.
yeah. Well, they Chug Life too. I love that beer they brought
yeah,
last
Chug
year.
Life
It's just such a
I
good,
don't know
good
how they still.
branding, and
Yeah.
they have to take other stuff out of the tank just to keep up with the production for that.
So you talked about this being one of 3 of your principal fundraisers. Since we're chatting, what are the other ones that you guys do?
The next one is going to be golf, June 2nd, Heritage Oaks Golf Course, so up north. So if you're a golf fan, it's a good day out there. We get, I think we top out about 170, 180 golfers on the course. So that one's pretty crazy. But the one that actually how I got involved with the organization, I used to cook at this event, was the Celebrity Chef Ball.
One of the best events in Chicago.
It's amazing.
It's so much fun.
So imagine it's, we hosted, and we are again this year at the Garrity in Pilsen. And it's essentially 60 local chefs all get together. We've had mixologists in the past. And what we do is we set up 13 different pods, and every pod has 3 chefs cooking a 6-course tasting menu. And it's like opening 13 restaurants at the same time.
It's great.
Under one roof. So 13 different tasting menus all going on simultaneously, and we get guys from Michelin stars and Top Chef and James Beard Award winners, and and the up and comers are always just like, I'll beat you. So yeah, it's that's our main guy, and yeah, like I said, that's how I got involved with it and learned more about the mission.
Very cool. Yeah, I know Tony's talked up the Celebrity
Chef Ball.
The Chef Ball for
Many years.
Yeah.
It's been
every year
awesome.
he's like, oh, you should get tickets. And I'm like, at this time, I'm like, gotta get a sitter. And I'm like, yeah, not gonna happen. But yeah, there's a lot of jealousy in that because I'm like, that seems like such an awesome event that I would love to go to. And I am terrible at golf, but I would do some.
You want to go be terrible to go there?
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Cool. Matthew, you're not invited.
Damn.
That was quick.
Shut down.
Now I know what he was gonna say.
Just sadness.
All right, what were you gonna say? You can come with.
Yeah, you'll need a foursome, so you need.
Shit!
You need Matthew.
Damn it!
No, I was gonna say the
Just
celebrity,
put us in the back.
celebrity ball. You just gotta get Trevor out of retirement.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
He used to work at Moto and Ing, and
Oh yeah.
like
Definitely
he
know
has
Trevor.
all of that.
He's solid.
He has all of that background.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure when you guys don't get invited and we get to go to have us barbecue.
Okay.
You see how it hurts, Tony? I have feelings too.
Wait, who has a barbecue?
Trevor.
Yeah, I know where he lives. Just gonna show up.
He's invited you. Not Tony though.
He's invited me.
Does Trevor still cook?
At home.
At
And
home, and you get
he
into-
definitely helps, come up with ideas, but our chef, Alex, doesn't need much help. He does amazing stuff. And they actually just won the Sausage Fest. Both best sausage and best food pairing.
Did they make the sausages? Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that. When are we going to see those on the menu?
They had it on the menu for a weekend.
Guess I missed that update on Facebook.
To this weekend special is a lobster roll.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I wanted it. It looked real good.
Yeah. Lobster salad roll, I think it said.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I don't know what that means anymore.
Either way, it's always been very good on those weekend specials. Brandon, what beer did you open up?
I don't know. Oh,
Dude.
Half
You're
acre.
steering the ship this time. I need
Half
help.
Acre Skipjack XPA. There's
It's from Half Acre.
Yep, from Half Acre. There's no notes on here really. Extra Pale Ale, HBC 1019, and Nelson Sullivan.
Savon.
What's HBC 1019?
That one actually I haven't heard yet.
It's an experimental hop that has no name yet.
The most
Probably.
the most
what
used one
HBC
is the
is,
HBC 586, which
Oh.
should be getting named soon. But no, an experimental hop that doesn't have a name yet.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we've ran into that a couple times. We're like, what the hell is this hop? Yeah, so experimental hop that doesn't have a name, but this is a solid pale ale. So.
It's funny because to me, hold on, let me go back in before I finish this sentence.
So awkward silence.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, to me, fruitier pale ales. Like, I'm used to pale ales being a little bit, like, bitter with, like, a subtle bitterness, but I'm getting, like, a lot of fruit forward. And is that, like, from the extra pale? Is that where the extra is coming in? Or is it extra pale as in the color? But it's not. It's not extra pale. It looks very yellow.
Yeah, but it is crispy to me,
Yeah.
especially pale. Like I don't know if that is just lighter. It's 4.5%, but it's really crispy and light, which almost has this kind of like lagery pilsner aspect to it.
Yeah. And so Half Acre, again, is going to be one of the breweries at the event.
I sense a theme.
Tossing this over to Cory, do you know what they're going to be pouring?
Yeah, they're going to be pouring Slow Melt, Reef Knot, and Waybird.
Oh, I knew I should have brought Slow Melt. That was the other one I was going to buy, but I bought this instead. Damn it. I blew it.
Yeah, the artwork on Slow Melt is really cool too.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I got a sticker of that one.
I do. So I had this beer already. I've had this before, and I was hoping they were going to pour it, but it's fine. Everything else is very good. But I really do like this beer. Matthew, how many X's are you giving this? I didn't think I'm sorry.
3.5 X's.
Triple X 0.5. Brandon?
Yeah, I'm in the same area. 3.5, 3.6, roughly.
I'm going 3.9.
Oh, look at you.
3.9. I love pale ales, baby.
Yeah.
My favorite beer style.
Yeah, no, it's
Same-
good.
same with
I'm
Pioneers.
good. I would definitely drink it again. Hey, I just think it's the kind of the mood that I'm in. once you start with like something hoppier, I'm
Yeah.
like, it like initiates hop mode.
I think
I think
it
we've never
helps.
seen
That,
reverse.
I think it helps that I've already had this, so it was already in my mind.
Yeah.
That I liked it.
No, solid beer though, and super excited that Half Acre is going to be there. I mean, I've been going to Half Acre for years, and not funny story, but like for those that don't know, like Hop Butcher for the World, who's also going to be at the event, is now brewing out of Half Acre's original space that they had on Lincoln Avenue. So, if you want a little bit of brewing history over there, like that's kind of cool. Like, and,
Dude, you should walk around and just tell everybody the history.
hey,
of
you
the
guys know?
You like that Hop Butcher? Let me give you a little fun fact.
Well, Hop Butcher was brewing out of other places before, but now they moved there. I mean, that's a solid spot for them. My
Wings
favorite
across the street? Yeah.
No, if you go to Gannon's, but my favorite was Wild Goose, but they moved, they moved like down the block to a bigger space. Yeah. So, and that when that happened, like my first thought was like, is Hop Butcher gonna expand and like take it over and build a restaurant? Like that would be great.
Yeah, but Hop Butcher took over Five Rabbit space as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
They bought that whole production space, so I was like, I think they have plenty of room.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
You remember the original name for Hop Butcher?
No.
South Loop Brewing.
Really? Look at you. He's the guy that should be talking history walking around.
All right, both of you. I'll just follow behind you guys.
No, we'll just be watching the sunset.
Still gonna be having the giant straw in the lake.
Hey man, if you get some weird pesticide, don't call me. I told you not to do it. I said don't do it. So let's kind of. I mean, we're coming towards the end, so I just want to make sure that we make sure that everybody that's listening, knows what to do, knows where to go. So where can folks get tickets?
Our website's really easy to get to. It's www.mowc.org. Click on the events tab, Chicago on tap. It'll give you the full event rundown, or you can just click on buy tickets. You can buy pre-advance raffle tickets, all of that stuff as well. Arm length for $100 to win all that amazing stuff. We have, well over 100 different items that we're.
Do we know anyone that's like 7 feet tall that we should bring and be our arm length?
No. Sadly.
Any listeners out there that are 7 feet tall, they could be your guests.
Send us an email. You can come with us.
There was a guy when we used to do Kegs for Kiddies. We used to do arm length tickets, and like somebody was just people were just dragging this guy around that was like 6'6", and like literally his arm span was like massive, and they were.
You got a pretty long wingspan there.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on my extendo arms too when I go to the event. But yeah, like people were just dragging this guy around, and like you're my arm's length, and they were just doing it from here to here, like. Which makes sense.
The other thing I was going to say is if we've been putting it in each episode, I think for the last like 3 or so, that we do have a link to get tickets for this in the episode.
Yeah, if you go to our site, if you go to our Facebook, our Instagram, anything like that, we have a link tree, and the first link on there is the link to get tickets for Meals on Wheels.
Come hang out with us.
Chicago on Tap.
It's for a good cause.
Yeah, we will definitely be there. It will be a super fun event, and we're looking forward to seeing as many of our friends there as possible.
And if you show up and you see me or Brandon and just say,
words.
What's your name again?
Matthew.
No, not that name.
Corned beef and snatch.
If you say corned beef and snatch, we will guide you over to Matthew, and Matthew will give you a 15-minute brewery history tour throughout the event.
Then you're gonna have to stand there and pour beer for
I'm fine with that.
Hey,
That's how I got started in this.
I told you, someone comes up and calls me corned beef and snatch. They'll be Krampus.
You're here. Matthew's got a special
Well, that
beer
sucks
for you.
because me and him are gonna be the first ones to run up to me like
Corned beef snatch.
Yeah.
Now give me the Krampus.
I won't do that.
You guys will get clear Krampus.
Clear Krampus?
Yeah.
Is that like Crystal Pepsi?
Yep, it's just cold water. From Lake Michigan.
It's poison. Cory, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And thank you for including us in this event yet again. We have a blast every year, and we always look forward to it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Matthew?
It's been a pleasure.
I wasn't done. Thank you for joining us again for another week. Now you
We're
can
a
say your
mess.
piece. It's just me.
It was a pleasure.
Brandon, I love everybody.
Love you too, man.
We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Go buy those tickets.
This has been The Malting Hour. Be sure to follow us on all social media by searching The Malting Hour and at themaltinghour.com. You can also follow us individually on social media. Brandon can be found on Instagram as BMDub81, on Twitter, BDub81, and on Untapped as BDubDrinksBeer. Tony can be found on Instagram and Untapped under Ace of Help Chicago, on Twitter, The Ace of Help Chicago. Clark can be found as Clarkowski on all three. Dan can be found on Instagram as hip__hops and hip hops on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate the show on your preferred podcast listening platform. Until next time, cheers from all of us at the Malting Hour.